Good afternoon, friends from the press. Welcome to today's news press conference. I now open the floor. Thank you, China Central Television. China just issued the news that President Xi Jinping will attend the opening ceremony of the Global Leaders Meeting on Women and deliver a keynote speech. Could you please offer us more detailed information? This year marks the 80th anniversary of the founding of the United Nations and the 30th anniversary of the convening of the Fourth World Conference on Women in Beijing. 30 years ago, the Fourth World Conference on Women adopted the Beijing Declaration and the Platform for Action, a milestone of the development of the course on women in the world. In 2020, President Xi Jinping attended the UN General Assembly high-level meeting on the 30th anniversary of the Fourth World Conference on Women and delivered an important speech proposing the convening in 2025 of another global leaders meeting on gender equality and women's empowerment. To implement President Xi's important initiative, China will co-host from the 13th to the 14th of October in Beijing with UN Women, the Global Leaders Meeting on Women. This meeting is aimed at reviewing the spirit of the Fourth World Conference on Women in Beijing and encouraging all parties to accelerate the implementation of the Beijing Declaration and the Platform for Action to inject new impetus into promoting global equality of gender and women empowerment and building a community with a shared future for humanity. President Xi Jinping will attend the opening ceremony and deliver a keynote speech. Dozens of heads of state and government, leaders of parliament, deputy prime ministers, and ministerial officials of around the world and leaders of international organizations and friendly people will attend the summit. We hope to work with the rest of the international community to make the meeting a success and a splendid one for another milestone of the development of the course of women in the world. Next question, please.
RIA Novosti. Italian Foreign Minister said that he has requested China to support the Olympic Truce Initiative for fightings in Ukraine and the Middle East during the 2026 Winter Olympics in February. Does China support the initiative proposed by Italy?
The tradition of truce of the Olympics has a long history, with people's pursuit for peace and helping each other. It is consistent with the founding mission of the United Nations for safeguarding international peace and security. The world is far from being tranquil and peace with the rampant regional hotspot issues. China supports taking the opportunity of the Olympic truce to minimize differences and confrontation with dialogue and cooperation for more mutual understanding and world peace and development. Next question, please. Thank you. China Daily, it is reported.
China Daily, it's reported that the 60th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council adopted by consensus the resolution led by China on economic, social, and cultural rights. Can you further brief us on that? On Monday, the 60th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council adopted by consensus a resolution on promoting and protecting economic, social, and cultural rights within the context of addressing inequalities submitted by China on behalf of nearly 70 countries, including Bolivia, Egypt, Pakistan, and South Africa. The resolution calls for stronger multilateralism and international cooperation and efforts of giving full play to the Knowledge Hub on economic, social, and cultural rights, which was initiated by China so as to better provide technical assistance and capacity-building support for countries in need. Representatives of various countries have extended their congratulations to China. Developing countries said that the resolution reflects the real needs of people of many countries, serves as a strong response to the developing countries' strong call for greater input into economic, social, and cultural rights. China will continue upholding true multilateralism, enhance dialogue and cooperation with all sides based on equality and mutual respect, and help advance the international cause of promoting and protecting human rights. Next one, please. This lady first.
谢谢发言人。环球时报、环球网记者提问：据报道，美国国会众议
Global Times. It is reported that Select Committee on China of the U.S. House of Representatives issued how visa policies enable defense entities to tap U.S. higher education, tarnishing and that it will restrict the normal cooperation in education between the two countries. What's your comment? The institution that you has mentioned always attacks and tarnishes China out of the political materials and has no credibility. On its malicious move, China has already lodged a solemn position to the United States. Let me stress that exchange and cooperation in education between China and the U.S. is mutually beneficial. It is in the interest of both sides, is what the two countries expect, and is conducive to interaction and understanding between the two peoples. Some U.S. politicians overstretch the concept of national security and interfere in and disrupt normal educational cooperation and people-to-people and cultural exchanges between the two countries. Their attempts find no support and will lead nowhere. We urge the U.S. to act on President Trump's commitment to welcoming Chinese students to study in the country and stop harming relevant parties' interests and China-U.S. ties. China will keep a close eye on what the U.S. says and does and will do what is necessary to firmly defend its legitimate rights and interests. Next, please.
谢谢。总台 CGTN 记者提问：近日，印度外交部表示，印度和中国。
CGT and India's foreign ministry said that direct flights between India and China will resume before the end of October, was China's comment. China and India will resume direct flights before the end of October this year. This is the latest move that demonstrates how the two sides faithfully act on the important common understandings reached between President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Tianjin on August 31st. It is also a positive move that serves the interests of our two peoples. China stands ready to work with India to view and handle bilateral relations from a strategic and long-term perspective. Be each other's friends, good neighbors, and partners that help each other succeed, and realize a cooperative part to do of the dragon and the elephant, so as to deliver more tangibly for the two peoples and make due contributions to upholding peace and prosperity in Asia and beyond. Next one, please.
Good afternoon, Laura Bicker.
BBC. 中英方已经撤销了对于2个人，也就是卡什和巴里在英国涉嫌为中国从事间谍案的撤诉。中方对此有何回应？
关于你提到的
On the case that you mentioned, now that the UK judicial authorities have dropped the case, it is all the more evident that the so-called spying for China allegation is pure fabrication. China firmly opposes peddling spying activities and China threat narrative to vilify China. And we urge some in the UK to avoid being paranoid. Next, please.
AFP. China's State Council Premier Li Qiang arrived in Pyongyang to attend the 80th anniversary celebrations of the Workers' Party of Korea. This is the first visit by China's premier since 2009. Can you share with us what message that China wants to send to the world through this trip?
关于李强总理
On Premier Li Qiang's visit to the DPRK, China has already released relevant information. I would refer you to that. China and the DPRK are traditional, friendly, close neighbors, safeguarding, consolidating, and growing China-DPRK relations, and is always the strategic guideline followed by the party and the government of China. This year marks the 80th anniversary of the founding of the Workers' Party of the DPRK. China stands ready to take this visit as an opportunity to work with the DPRK to follow the guidance of the important common understandings reached between the leaders of the two parties and two countries to enhance strategic communication, exchange and cooperation for continuous development of traditional friendly relations of cooperation between our two countries. Next, please.
Hello, Laura from the BBC again.
BBC， 我想问一下关于 APEC 的问题。在韩国将举行 APEC 非正式领导人会议，中方是否会派议员前往韩国参加？领导人会否在 APEC 期间同特朗普进行会晤？
中方高度重
China attaches great importance to APEC cooperation and stands ready to work with all parties for positive outcomes of the APEC meeting this year for Asia-Pacific and world economic growth. As for your specific issue, I do not have information to offer. Next, please.
谢谢发言人。北京青年报记者提问：据报道，当地时间
Beijing News Daily, it's reported that the 31st regular meeting of the Council of the Foreign Ministers of the Andean Community was held, and through discussion accepted China as an observer state, was China's comment. The Andean Community is a major integration organization in Latin America. In 2000, China established a political consultation mechanism with the community, and China's relations with its member states have maintained a sound momentum of development with solid political mutual trust, fruitful practical cooperation, and diverse people-to-people exchanges. As China becomes an observer state to the organization, we stand ready to take this opportunity to work with the community to forge a new cooperation paradigm featuring complementary bilateral and multilateral interactions to deliver more benefit to the two peoples and contribute to the building of a China-LAC community with a shared future. Next one, please.
发行社
AFP, U.S. President, U.S. administration said that he has dismissed a diplomat from the State Department over a romance with Chinese national. Was China's comment?
请再重复一下。
Could you please repeat your question? Could you please repeat your question?
美国政府做
U.S. administration yesterday said that it has dismissed a employee of the State Department of the U.S. for not being able to report his romance with a Chinese national. Was China's comment?
美方的内部
It is the U.S. domestic affairs. We have no comment on that. That said, we oppose drawing lines along ideological difference and maliciously vilifying China. Next, please.
发行社
AFP again. 中方对于加沙的停火协议有何评论？
中方
China hopes that a comprehensive and permanent ceasefire in Gaza will be realized as early as possible. The humanitarian crisis will be effectively eased and tensions in the region will be diffused. China upholds the principle of the Palestinians governing Palestine and promotes the implementation of the two-state solution. We stand ready to work with the international community to make a unremitting effort towards a comprehensive, just and lasting resolution of the Palestinian question and a peaceful and stable Middle East. Next, please. Any other question? This is the end of today's press conference. Thank you.